Hi, this is Ajay Anand and welcome to science classes from excelup.com. In this lesson, you will learn about gymnosperm. Gymnosperms are those plants in which seeds are naked, that is, seeds are not covered. Ovule is not enclosed by ovarian wall and ovule remains exposed. So, this is entirely different compared to angiosperms in which ovule is covered by ovarian wall and seeds are covered. That means seeds are more protected compared to seeds in gymnosperms. Both gymnosperms and angiosperms, they are seed bearing plants, and that is why they are kept under phanerogams. The earlier plants like pteridophytes and bryophytes or algae, they do not produce seeds, and that is why they are called cryptogams. The name gymnosperm is composed of two terms. One is gymnos and another is sperma. These are Greek words. Gymnos means naked and sperma means seed, and that is why the name gymnosperm has been given to this group of plants. Now, let us discuss about some key characters of gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are medium sized or tall trees, and some of the gymnosperms, they are shrubs also. As far as roots are concerned, tap roots are generally found in gymnosperms. Then there are two examples of symbiosis also. In some genera, for example in Pinus, mycorrhiza are found. These are special roots which have symbiotic association with fungi, so that nitrogen fixation can take place in soil. Then cycads, they have small specialized roots, and these roots are called coralloid roots. So, this diagram shows coralloid roots. The roots, they have nodules and cyanobacteria. They live inside these nodules, and these cyanobacteria, they help in nitrogen fixation in soil. Okay. Now, stems of gymnosperms, they can be unbranched or branched. Cycas has unbranched stem, and Pinus and Cedrus, they have branched stems. Leaves can be simple or compound. The leaves of gymnosperms, they are well adapted for extremes of temperature, humidity and wind. For example, conifers, they have needle-like leaves, and because of the needle shape of the leaves, what happens? The ice cannot stay on leaves; it drops down because of the shape of the leaf. Because the thin leaves, they do not provide enough space to for ice to stay over there, and that is how they get saved from getting destroyed under extreme cold because of ice deposition. Then sunken stomata, they are present, so that the transpiration can be reduced and loss of water can be prevented. Then these leaves, they have a waxy cuticle, that is coating of wax all over them, which also helps in preventing dehydration and loss of water. So, these are the adaptations for extreme temperatures. Now, let us try to understand about life cycle of gymnosperm. The life cycle of gymnosperm has two phases, sporophyte phase and gametophyte phase, but unlike earlier groups, the sporophyte phase is the dominant phase and gametophyte phase is not independent. It lives on sporophyte. If you can recall what you read in for pteridophyte or bryophyte, in pteridophyte, the gametophyte was of smaller duration, but it was independent. In bryophyte, the sporophyte is not dominant, rather gametophyte is more dominant. But in case of gymnosperm and even in case of angiosperm, gametophyte is not a dominant phase, sporophyte is a dominant phase, and gametophyte does not live independently. Okay. Now, so this is the sporophyte phase with diploid ploidy, that is 2n. The leaves of the tree or a sporophyte, they make a special structure. They transform into male strobili or female strobili, or you can say male cone or female cone. Okay. The female cone is much larger compared to male cone, and gymnosperms, they are heterosporous because two kinds of spores are produced. The smaller spores, they are called microspores, and they are produced in microsporophylls. The bigger spores are called megaspores, and they are produced in megasporophylls, okay, or female cone. Now, since spores are produced after meiosis, so with the generation of spores, gametophyte phase or 1n phase or haploid phase, it begins. So now the pollen grains, these are haploid, ovules, they are haploid. Pollen grains reach up to ovule through air or with the help of pollinating agents like insects. Once the pollen grains, they reach ovule, they enter the ovule through microscopic pores, and these pores are called micropiles. Once the pollen grain enters the ovule, it produces a pollen tube, and after that fertilization takes place. Okay. After fertilization, the embryo has diploid structure, that is 2n ploidy. Okay. And from the seeds, the gametophyte phase, sporophyte phase begins. As I have said earlier, and this is the unique characteristic of gymnosperms, that seeds or ovules, they are not covered. In case of Pinus and in some other species also, the male and female cones, they grow on the same tree. And in case of Cycas, male and female cones, they grow on different trees. So that's all about this lesson. Thank you.